I have soaked up videos and information on selling beats online and making money as a producer online like a sponge. But there's this one thing that I've never heard somebody talk about. Literally nobody's talking about that. But it turns out to be one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, if you want to sell beats or start making money online as a producer. And that's why I will tell you about it. I was posting cookup videos and tutorials for a couple of years until I decided that I want to make money with my hobby. Because even though I was able to grow my channel to a certain degree, I was making no money off my hobby. I've posted around 200 tutorials and I want you to take on the seatbelt now with a total of $0 revenue. You know how many hours of work I've put into those tutorials? Didn't make any money off it, not even ad revenue. $0. I've told this story a couple times on my channel that at the end of 2023 I decided to switch up the content in general on this channel because making those tutorials wasn't the right thing for me anymore and I wanted to start making money with it. So I went on YouTube and started my research about the best ways to make money as a producer. And even though I already had this channel with over 2,000 subscribers, somehow I came to the conclusion that selling beats and growing a typey channel is the way to go now. Let me know in the comments if you think that selling beats online is the best way to make money as a producer or if it's something else for you. But I thought if I want to get started with making money, a type beat channel is the way to go. So I started my type beat channel at the beginning of the year and documented everything on my YouTube channel so that you can see what does work and what not. And so far it's been successful. In the first 6 months of starting selling beats, I was able to make a 4-figure number of money. I've got a beat with 40,000 views now and I made super dope connections as well. The people that I'm working with now, I would not have been able to work with them if it's not for the type beat channel, because people are hitting me up. If they can send loops, then they figure out, okay, he can make his own melodies, we can collab on loops. People might have seen my channel and those beats that do good numbers, so I can reach out to other producers in a similar niche, send those guys my loops. But what led to all those things was not me studying these little nuances and details of the type beat game and the beat selling business. It was the decision to stop consuming and start producing. You know, producer producing. Okay, that was a bad one. But seriously, at some point you need to stop absorbing all that information and actually start with the implementation. Because all that information does nothing for you if you just consume it and then do nothing productive with it. In one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, I mentioned that on the channel before, the author James Clear talks about something called motion. Motion makes you feel like you're making progress, but you're actually prepared to make progress. And by the way, I highly recommend to read that book. As I said, it's one of my favorite books. If you want to get it as well, you can find a link in the description. Especially for creatives, it's one of the best books. But back to motion. Things like brainstorming about a new email campaign, looking for keywords for your channel, or reaching out to people if you can send them loops. You feel like you're making progress and you're actually doing something, but it's without the risk of failure. If people hit you back and say no, there's no risk in it. You don't put in a lot of time to DM somebody. Brainstorming about something does not require a lot of time. At some point, it's necessary to do things like that. But just in case you got thousands of beats on your hard drive. I was one of those guys. I had thousands of beats on my hard drive and an audience, but I was making no money. For me, it was the right move to study the game and brainstorm. But unless you are in the same situation that I was in, you have an audience, you got decent beats and you got a ton of them, a way better advice is to just get started and get the fundamental work done. What I notice is that too many producers think too much about figuring out the best approach that they waste so much time. Overthinking is actually a big problem for most producers, and that's why I will talk about that in my very next video. If you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe real quick. The problem with thinking too much about your next move is not only that you minimize the risk of failure, as I said before, but also that it takes almost no effort to perform. Like thinking about something, that's easy work. Brainstorming, that's easy work. Or if we stick with the DMing people example, if you shoot out a couple DMs and maybe you get some yes or no back, the real work is creating the loops and sending them out. But just sending the DMs is easy work. Sitting down and making beats and making loops and getting better, getting repetition in, that's the hard work. And I'm sure you know that hard work pays off. I do speak out of my own experience because I got situations as well where I just need to stop with the motion and just do the hard work. I got a Trello board where I collect all my video ideas and I got more than 20 or 30 ideas in there. Can't even count them anymore. But the actual hard work is recording the videos, editing them, doing the thumbnails. Just brainstorming the idea, that's done in like 10-15 minutes. But getting the video done, recording it, editing, doing the thumbnail takes a couple couple hours to do. That's actual hard work. Starting the actual work is so important, and you will find out everything else on the journey. Because what I promise you is you will learn on the job. It does make sense to watch YouTube videos and gain knowledge to save time, but you will find some answers to your questions only by getting the repetition in. Perfection isn't something you should chase when you're just getting started. It will just prevent you from getting the needed repetition in, which is required to being great in something. You want to make and post as many beats as possible to see what works for you, which style suits you. Can you keep up the pace if you do a certain style for a long time or not? Can you sell beats of a certain niche or not? You will only find out the answer for those questions if you put in the work and post for a couple of weeks or months and get results that you can work with and that you can learn from. And as I said, you can definitely learn things in YouTube videos. Otherwise, I wouldn't post my own videos. But only for things that would take you a lot of time to figure out on your own, but you can learn some fundamentals only on the job. I can sit here all day long and tell you what works for me and what not and give you the most genuine advice. But at the end of the day, you gotta take action and see what really works for you. And if all those learnings that I share with you or other producers share with you apply to your situation as well. But if you have already started and you just can't keep track with the daily type beats, then this is the right video for you.